We did then shows every month, which was very, very tough, but we kept on collecting addresses of people. And now, after 2 or 3 years, we had 6,000 or 7,000 names of people who have been to the show.
Right.
Let's talk about that if we can. Is that okay?
Oh, we can talk about everything, but can I ask you two?
Yes.
Or I'm going to ask you one question, then I have a question for the end. So,
Yeah.
remember where you were.
Yeah.
Why do you think? Because now, to me, it seems like a no-brainer, and you got to realize, as a young kid, being a huge boxing fan, to find out that there's boxing in Orange County, I mean, it's the best thing. It's the best thing ever. And to go to it, you know, because the first time I ever saw it live was at the Ballroom, and it was like everything I'd ever seen on TV. My question is, you go to Don. I don't know how are you going to do it in the Ballroom. You got, I don't want to say a lot of resistance, but you got a lot of people saying, Roy, what are you talking about? Why do you think that was there?
Because the reason people or Don resisted it, because it had never been done before. You're going to put a ring in a ballroom at a hotel. Remember, back 40, 50 years ago in LA, it was the El Monte Legion Stadium, the Olympic Auditorium, the Country Club. They were in kind of special event centers. There wasn't an upscale ballroom.
By Country Club, do you mean the Country Club in Reseda?
The Country Club in Reseda, yeah.
Because you know that was also a punk venue too.
Yeah, absolutely it is. And remember the Olympics, that's where punk and the craziness did a lot of that in the Olympic auditorium. But that's why it was kind of looked, how can you do boxing in a ballroom? And maybe it was because I was on my own, running my own company, that I needed money. I needed to pay the bills, and I saw this as an opportunity, and it worked. And it worked. Not many other people have done shows in a ballroom. It isn't easy because the hotel does other things in the ballroom. So, I mean, it's not as easy as it is at Fight Club OC.
Continue.
Let's talk about the mailing list that I mentioned in one of the other segments, that we collected addresses back in the mid 80s to put a database together. And we would, right now, Fight Club OC, we send out email blasts, constant contact. Well, 40 years ago, we didn't have emails. You didn't have the internet. You had addresses. You had a mailing house that would put labels on envelopes, and you put your flyer in there. We had maybe 7,000 or 8,000. Well, I read, big announcement, top rank, Oscar De La Hoya is going to fight Shane Mosley, the Battle of LA, at Staples Center.
Yeah.
Staples Center had only been open. It had just been open less than a year.
De La Hoya's first loss.
And it was big, big, big news. Well, I get a call from a secretary, Tim Lywicki, who was running the Staples Center. Roy, this is so-and-so from Tim. Tim would like to see you. Could you come up to the Staples Center? Tim Lywicki, I'm a little promoter on time. Sure. I go up, wait, get into his office, window there, downtown LA. And Tim says, Roy, you probably read that we're going to have Oscar De La Hoya fight Shane Mosley, the first fight we've had at the Staples Center, with Bob Arum. And I said to Bob, Bob, I just gave you $7 million site fee for this fight. How am I going to fill 22,000 seats? And Arum says to me, well, I think there's a young promoter in Orange County that has a mailing list. How Bob knew about that, I don't know. So he says, Roy, is that right? I said, yeah, we have maybe 7,000 or 8,000. He says, Roy, if we want to do an advance mailer to your fans, what would you charge me for this one-time use?
Quick question. You're being asked by the biggest people with the deepest pockets.
Yeah.
How, right now, when you're asked that question in that meeting, what do you think? What gear? Like, did you have any idea this is what the meeting was going to be about?
Absolutely not.
Okay, so
I didn't. So he asked me, what would you want for that? Now, not wanting to act stupid or naive, but no, I didn't even think about that. And this is happening in milliseconds on that. And I just came out with a number. I said, $20,000. He looks at his assistant next. He says, okay, let's do that. Tim says, Brad will be in touch with you. Let's do this. I leave. I'm driving back to Newport Beach saying, I just made $20,000 for something that every promoter, every business should do. Collect data.
Right.
This is before Facebook or before Microsoft are collecting data.
Well, now it's evolved into, you guys talk about it at every show. We have a QR code,
Yeah.
you scan this, and but this is before all of that. Okay.
All that. So we made $20,000 for that. And now, and there's still, to this day, 2025, there are still promoters who have no database, who don't collect names. Who are your best customers? Your best customers are not the fight fans, are not the subscribers to Sports Illustrated or Ring Magazine. Your best customers are the people that buy a ticket, that come to your show. That's who you should get. And that's why we now have a database of about 17,000 names of people that have been to our show that we send out email blasts to. But that helped my business, and it gave us credibility. Now, over the years, I've probably sold that about maybe 2 other times to a show happening in Los Angeles, because we were the only ones that had a database.